Hello everyone, and welcome to a show about a region that's absolutely teeming with beauty, culture, and, oh right, crippling poverty and corruption so blatant it makes your average FIFA executive say, "Now hold on a minute, that's just excessive." We're talking about Latin America, a place where the beaches are pristine, the food is phenomenal, and the chances of a government official pocketing funds meant for, I don't know, literally anything useful, are tragically high. Over the next little while, we're diving deep into 10 countries facing some seriously tough times. We'll be wading through economic turmoil, political instability, and enough crime to make Gotham City look like a peaceful little hamlet. Buckle up, kids, it's gonna be a bumpy ride. Venezuela. Once a shining beacon of oil wealth, now a cautionary tale about what happens when you mix economic mismanagement with a dash of authoritarianism and a whole heaping tablespoon of, oh God, what are we doing? We're talking hyperinflation so bad people are using stacks of cash thicker than a dictionary to buy a loaf of bread. We're talking about food shortages so severe even the national bird is considering migrating. And let's not forget the political instability where the government seems more interested in clinging to power than, actually governing. It's a mess, folks, a real oleo of despair. Next up, Brazil, a country that boasts the largest rainforest on Earth and a level of political corruption that's, frankly, breathtaking. We're talking about scandals that would make even the most jaded cynic say, okay, that's just brazen. Public services are crumbling faster than a cookie in a toddler's hand. Education, underfunded, healthcare, overburdened, infrastructure. Let's just say you better hope your commute doesn't involve a bridge built anytime recently. And don't even get me started on the deforestation of the Amazon. It's like watching someone take a chainsaw to the Earth's lungs, all while lining their pockets with dirty money. It's enough to make you want to scream into the void, or maybe just start a very strongly worded petition. Mexico, land of tequila, tacos, and, oh right, a homicide rate that would make even John Wick nervous. We're talking about a country where drug cartels hold more power than some governments, and where the line between law enforcement and law-breaking is blurrier than a margarita after a long day at the beach. Kidnappings? Sadly not uncommon. Extortion? Practically a business model. And don't even think about crossing the cartels, unless you have a particular fondness for cement shoes and a watery grave. The root causes are complex, a tangled mess of poverty, corruption, and demand for illegal substances north of the border. It's a problem that requires a nuanced approach, not just a war on drugs that's about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. Next we travel to Honduras, where the healthcare system is about as reliable as a paper bag in a hurricane, and the education system is, well, let's just say it's not exactly churning out Nobel laureates. Want to see a doctor? Better pack a lunch because you'll be waiting longer than you would for a Kardashian to return a borrowed outfit. And if you need surgery? Let's just say you better hope your ailment is particularly fond of herbal remedies and the power of positive thinking. Education isn't much better. Underfunded and overcrowded, schools are struggling to provide even the most basic necessities, let alone a quality education. It's a cycle of poverty that's harder to break than a piñata full of angry wasps. Haiti, a nation forever grappling with the aftermath of earthquakes, hurricanes, and a seemingly endless cycle of political turmoil. It's a country where even the most basic necessities feel like luxuries, and where the phrase international aid takes on a whole new meaning. We're talking about a place where clean water is a precious commodity, where access to healthcare is a distant dream for many, and where the infrastructure is about as reliable as a politician's promise. The international community has poured billions into Haiti, but where has it gone? It's a question that deserves a long, hard look, because something isn't adding up. And the Haitian people deserve better than to be constantly rebuilding from the rubble. Bolivia, home to stunning salt flats, towering mountains, and, oh right, an environment that's being ravaged by mining, deforestation, and the ever-present threat of climate change. We're talking about a country where glaciers are melting faster than a popsicle in a sauna, where forests are being cleared at an alarming rate, and where the air quality in some cities is enough to make you want to invest in a hazmat suit. This isn't just an environmental issue, it's an economic one, a social one, and a human rights one. The people of Bolivia deserve better than to have their future sacrificed for short-term profits and unsustainable practices. Guatemala, a country where the coffee is strong, the culture is vibrant, and the number of people fleeing towards the US border is, frankly, heartbreaking. We're talking about a mass exodus fueled by poverty, violence, and the very real fear that staying put means risking everything. Families are making the impossible choice to leave behind their homes, their loved ones, and everything they've ever known, all for the hope of a safer, more prosperous future elsewhere. But why are so many Guatemalans desperate to leave? Well, let's just say it has something to do with a history of political instability, gang violence that would make MS-13 blush, and an economy that seems designed to benefit the wealthy few at the expense of everyone else. Colombia, a country that's trying to outrun its past, but keeps tripping over the legacy of drug cartels, paramilitary groups, and a civil conflict that just won't quit. We're talking about a place where the cocaine trade cast a long shadow, where violence can erupt as suddenly as a tropical storm, and where the government is locked in a seemingly endless battle for control. But it's not all doom and gloom. Colombia is a country of incredible resilience with a vibrant culture, stunning landscapes, and a people determined to build a better future. Peru, a land of ancient ruins, breathtaking landscapes, and, oh right, indigenous communities who are still fighting for basic rights and recognition. We're talking about a country where the legacy of colonialism is still felt deeply, where indigenous people often face discrimination, poverty, and limited access to education and healthcare. From land rights to cultural preservation, the challenges faced by indigenous communities in Peru are complex and multifaceted. It's a reminder that progress doesn't always reach everyone equally, and that there's still a long way to go in the fight for true equality. Chile, once hailed as a model of economic success in Latin America, has recently been rocked by protests and unrest, as simmering tensions over inequality and social injustice finally boiled over. We're talking about a country where the gap between the rich and the poor is wider than the Atacama Desert, where the cost of living is sky-high, and where many feel left behind by an economic system that seems rigged against them. From pension reform to student debt, the protests in Chile are a reminder that economic growth doesn't always translate into social progress, and that even in seemingly stable countries, the pressure for change can build up until it can no longer be contained. Well, there you have it. A whirlwind tour of 10 Latin American countries grappling with some seriously heavy issues. We've seen economic ruin, political corruption, violence, poverty, environmental destruction, basically the whole enchilada of societal ills. But before you spiral into a pit of despair, remember this: awareness is the first step towards action. By shining a light on these issues, we can start to hold those in power accountable and demand better for the people of Latin America. Thanks for watching, and if you're feeling particularly inspired, why not hit that subscribe button? It's free, it's easy, and it's a great way to show your support for, well, for me continuing to make these videos. Plus, for the pursuit of knowledge and all that jazz.